This week I'm driving the 2022 BMW i4 M50. The i4 is the first full electric sedan from BMW, and this i4 is going to compete against models like the Tesla Model 3 or the Polestar 2. So we'll see how this German's going to compete against the big Tesla Model 3, who's really popular on the market. Under the hood of this BMW i4, there's no cargo space. We've got some kind of like a fake engine going on here, but still power-wise, it's good for 536 horsepower. 586 foot-pounds of torque. This is due to two electric motors matched to an 83 kilowatt battery. So let's go on the road and test this M50. All right, I'm gonna test the acceleration with the i4. We've got the all-wheel drive system and also just under 600 foot-pounds of torque. I'm gonna put it in Sport Boost. This is kind of like the Sport Plus for the electric BMW. Launch control. It's weird. There you go. You can do the 0 to 100 kilometers in about 3.5 seconds. It's really quick off the line. It's probably as quick as an M3 competition. And you know, on the long run, I'm sure it's easier to do the 3.5 second over and over and over in a gasoline car. Sometimes you're losing traction and all kind of stuff. In an electric car like this one, it's just take off and it's constant and it's really quick off the line. And with that funky launch control, it's super quick. On the road with the i4 M50 this week, it's pretty comfortable on the road. You know, it's you can feel it's an heavier car than the normal M3, M4, whatever you want to compare it to. But still, you don't have that harsh suspension you'll find maybe on an M competition. You still feel this setup of suspension is made for sport driving, but still comfortable as a daily driver on the road. That's a big plus for the i4. Sometimes, you know, especially here in Canada, I feel some BMWs that the suspension and the tire setups a little bit too hardcore for our road. They're not really comfortable. It's not the case inside of this i4. Good comfort inside, good handling also. You can push it down the curve, obviously, because you have tons of power. You know, when you're exiting that curve, you've got that instant torque, that pickup, got a lot of power. It's just a lot of fun to drive. Obviously, it's not as sharp as a M3 competition handling wise, but for an electric car with that weight, it's pretty good. It's one of the best I've drove so far. It's way better than the competition I drove. You feel that BMW tune, that M touches from the M division. You don't make a sacrifice by choosing the electric BMW. I could say it's still a BMW. It's still a lot of fun to drive. You get also some different driving modes. You've got Eco Pro. This is really to do the maximum, you know, range with your battery. You've got the comfort. You've got the Sport and the new Sport Boost. So the Sport Boost, basically, it's kind of like a Sport Plus you can find inside of a M products. The difference between a Sport and a Sport Boost, basically the Sport's gonna give you that really hard acceleration, but after that it's gonna be like slowing down. The Sport Boost will continue to push with that max power even after a hard acceleration. That's really cool. You know, if you're inside of a Mustang Mach-E GT performance, I could say, even if you're in the most hardcore sport mode, you feel after you get that burst of acceleration, you kind of slow down. But inside of this BMW i4, it's not the case. It still continues to push. If we take a look at the design of this i4 M50, it's kind of like a hybrid between a M3 and the Series 4 Grand Coupe. So it's kind of like a M3 Grand Coupe, I could say. I really like that approach from BMW. They didn't fall into the sport coupe SUV be like the Mustang Mach-E or the Tesla Model Y. You know, it's really a hybrid between, you know, a sedan and an SUV with that hatchback, you know, trunk. I really like that. In the front, you've got an aggressive front end, different grille. This is a full grille because this car, it's electric. You don't need like a real grille. Surrounding that grille, it's darker than the other models, so it's not chrome. Also, you can notice around the logos in the front and also in the back, it's all blue. So that's pretty much how you can notice it's an electric BMW. You know, good set of wheels, not boring, good tires also, good brakes. In the back, there's no exit for the exhaust, obviously. You've got some kind of like diffuser and all that. I really dig that look, you know. It looks like a real BMW. It doesn't look like a spaceship. So I think it fits really well into that BMW lineup. Stepping inside of this i4, it doesn't look like a spaceship. It looks like a BMW. Some difference for the i4. You can notice on the shifter and on the start-stop button, they're all blue. So it means that's an electric car because it's blue. We've got also a different screen in front of us. We've got that new screen curve into the direction of the driver. Similar screen to the one we can find inside of the BMW iX. Cool screen, really clear, really crisp, easy to use. The only thing, you know, kind of like missing and I don't like about this screen, it's really the climate control buttons. They're all on the screen. I think it's a little bit too complicated. Sometimes they don't do what you really want. I wish we had a little bit more real button to play with the climate. Otherwise, this screen works really well. Nice cameras, 3D views and all that. There's a bunch of apps you can play with. Otherwise, you know, good looking interior. It still looks like a BMW. Same steering wheel you can find in other products. Nice carbon fiber, some blue stitching, some M division touches on the seat belt, the seats and all that. If we step in the back, that's where, you know, that grand coupe design, you have to make a sacrifice for your headroom and your legs and all that. Unfortunately, you know, maybe for kids, if you're tall like me, an adult is not able to have any space behind myself. Also, you've got that hump in the middle who's gonna take more space. It's really restricted for the rear seat space. Taking a look at the trunk, we've got that hatchback kind of like trunk. You've got a little bit more, you know, trunk space than a normal sedan, I could say. That's a plus for this i4. Maybe you don't have a lot of space in the rear seats, but at least you're getting more cargo in the back. So that's a plus for the i4 M50. Range-wise, you can do around 435 kilometers on a full charge. Right now, I'm at 85%, and the car is saying I'm able to do 441 kilometers. So probably are able to do a little bit more than the actual numbers they're saying. So that's a plus. You know, once you're in that 400 kilometers of range, it's a little bit, you know, less stressful to drive an electric car. Speaking of recharge time on a level 1, I don't have the actual numbers, but it's more than 50 hours. On a level 2, so a normal charger at home is gonna take you about 8.5 hours. And if you're able to find a level 3 fast charger, it's gonna be around 34 minutes. So this is normal stuff. You know, this week I didn't have any issues with the range, the recharging and everything. Obviously, it's summertime here. It's the ideal condition to test any electric cars. I wish maybe later on this year during the winter, I'm going to be able to test some full electric BMWs during the winter to see how they handle the cold weathers and all that. I would really like to test them to see how the weather is going to affect them. But so far in you know, normal weather, they're performing really well. Price wise, the BMW i4 M50 starts at $72,990, and the model I'm testing this week, it's good for $87,035 Canadian. So I think the price is right for this i4. I think with the quality of the materials, the experience of driving, the power you get out of this, and also the, you know, the overall look. I drove the Mustang Mach-E GT Performance, was almost the same price as this BMW, and you know, my feeling behind the wheel, it's way much more fun with this BMW. And also, you know, the design wise, I'm not into really those sport coupe SUV. This design, this kind of like Grand Coupe, I think it's more appealing for me, even if this design is not as practical as the sport coupe SUV. Obviously, you've got more cargo space and better space for the rear passengers. Just for the fun of driving, I really like this car. It's one of the most fun EVs I drove so far. The driving dynamics, the power and all that, it's a lot of fun. And also you've got power all the way, you know, through the speeds. Most SUVs are pretty quick, under 100 kilometers. This BMW can go on the Autobahn easily, I could say. It's still got some good power on the highway. I always thought, you know, it was kind of like the weak point of EVs compared to the gasoline, you know, models. But this one's really quick and can compete against any quick sedan on the road easily. So that's a big plus for the i4. So let me know in the comments, what do you think about this i4? Do you like the Grand Coupe kind of like hatchback models? Do you like the look? Should it be like a bit more futuristic like the previous i3 and i8 and all that? Or you like this kind of approach of like mixing technology but still having that, you know, BMW vibe inside of this i4? Let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and we're gonna see each other on the next review.